Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Patricia Stuart of Patricia Stuart Originals. Now I have something that's pretty interesting to do. I make these strips of paper rolls. I have very long ones that I've done, and I'm using like scrapbook paper, papers. Some of them have prints on the back, and some just one design on the front. But I'm using some of my favorite scrapbook paper designs, and I'm using my hole puncher. This is a small hole puncher that gives you this size. And I have my masking tape, my clear packing tape. And all I'm doing is taking the circles and placing them down onto the tape any way that I want to. And I do this all along the tape in strips. Now this one I did in a shorter strip, maybe, let's see, maybe 16 inches, because it gets a little tricky once you have to put the top layer of clear packing tape on top, and you don't want the tape to get out of control and start twisting and buckling on you, which it does. And so I work with, a certain amount of inches at a time. But all you're doing is taking your circles and placing them down onto the tape, however you want to do it. You could also take some of them and cut them in half, like that, if you want a clean edge, and then you can place it right on the edge. Okay, and so it's fun and easy to do. I turn some over on the white side and place them down, overlap them, and you end up getting a nice strip. And I use these in my journal pages. This can be used to decorate the sides of the, oh, my memory's going. When you frame your pictures and you're using a mat, and you could come alongside the mat if you don't want it plain white, and you can use double-sided tape on the back and lay it down onto your mat. Or create your own mat with this alone. And so there's quite a few interesting things that you can do with this. And it has, I'm sure, some different uses. And so all I'm doing is putting down the circles, arranging them, whatever colors and way that I want to arrange them. And it makes for a nice, creative item. And also with the small hole puncher, I use black paper and punch out the holes. And then it's like small pieces of confetti. I then sprinkle them on it at the end before I'm ready to lay the top layer of packing tape. And so it works pretty well and pretty nicely. Now, with the ones I have done some that come on, well, they're very long, and I've used my gel prints and cutting different ripping strips and just laying them out on the tape using gel prints. So you could use scrapbook paper, you could use gel prints, you can use any painted papers, decorative papers. I would not suggest using tissue paper or things like that. It's too thin and fragile, and it won't work as well. But you certainly can use any decorative paper. You probably can use newspaper. You can use music sheet paper. You can get pretty creative with it. I decided to give a nice flat edge and attach it there. And so it's, you know, you can be as creative as you want to be with laying these pieces down. The most tricky part is when it comes to laying your piece of packing tape on top. You have to really take your time, be patient, keep the air bubbles from getting in as you're trying to smooth it out. And I have this black paper underneath because that's the only way that I could see the tape to be able to do this. And I move it down as I get a little further down. Other than that, it'll be quite frustrating to try to see the tape and see what it is you're trying to do. And so this might be a project that you may want to do, that you're interested in doing. If there's any that overlap the sides, which I do have, at the end when you seal it with the next layer of tape, you just come down and cut your edges and clean, you know, get your edges clean. It's pretty easy, it's pretty simple. Yeah, a no-brainer. And it's fun and relaxing to do. And I have just taken these papers and just cut out the circles as I need them. And place them down. Doesn't really matter how they come out. I, you know, overlap them. Cut them down as I want them. On the backs of some of my paper, it's just white, and then some of it, I don't know if you can see, but some of it has print on the other side, so you can get some design on the other side. So you may want to try your hand at this. I will come back and show you what the strip looks like and how I'm going to apply the second layer. So as I said to you before, here's the tricky part, because I now have to lay the tape over, and the tape always wants to do its own thing. So let's see if it's going to cooperate. And so now this black paper helps me to see where the edge of the tape is, and you want to press out any air bubbles, but you also want to keep the tape even, and that's where the problem comes in. It tries not to lay even for me, or straight rather. And then you get a little buckle that I have here, but I'll straighten that out later. Some of my black circles got dislodged. But the point is, you get it down, you cut it, and so whatever parts may have buckled, you take the end of your scissors and smooth it out. Okay, just like that. And then I have it taped with the masking tapes to secure it down. And so that edge, it's cut off. So there may be some pieces hanging off the edge. Just take the scissors. You could see the tape, cut it down to the tape edge so there's no sticky parts of the tape. It's okay if you cut it down a little narrower than what you started with. You're just going for clean edge. And you do the same with the other side. And it's pretty simple. You have your paper roll. And I'm going to show you how I store these and how I roll it. And then we'll go on to part 2 of this video right now, showing you the roll that I use. And so just like that, you have your paper strips. Okay, I will come back and show you how I store them. Okay, so I store my paper strips onto these wooden spools. And these are spools that I have painted and decorated, as you can see. Originally, they come like this. And I paint them. Natural wood. These are jumbo spools that I got on Amazon. You get 2 in a pack for $15.99. And compared to all the other spools that I've priced on Etsy and other places that weren't as big as these, they were pretty pricey. And so Amazon carries these. I'll put the information in the description box for you. And these work perfectly. I used acrylic paint markers by Arts, and to do the colors, I have about 30 markers here, and these are water-based markers. You get 2 rows. And they are wonderful to work with. They go on smooth like butter, spread nicely without a lot of streaks. And that's what I design these with. And they came out pretty well. So here's what it looks like. I use a piece of masking tape to hold it. But here is my gel prints. These are the ones that I did with gel prints and other papers. All right. I have them all rolled up on here. Let's see if we can get this to spin for me. All my scraps, I have not really made any gel prints since last year this time. I'm using up all my scraps by placing them onto this spool, right? The same method that I showed you earlier. So this is full of gel prints, and I will, you know, use this in art journaling and, you know, whatever. You can just cut the pieces as you need it for however much you need it, or make them thinner. Whatever you want to do with them. But it works pretty well for me. And the same with this one. Some more gel prints that I've done. All through my videos, you might recognize some of these prints in previous projects and videos. And I just, you know, some I cut, some I ripped, and just whatever. And so that's the fun of using, you know, your scraps. So you don't have to toss your scraps. You can just get some packing tape and put them together and make use of them for another project or for something else. And I'm big on what do you do with the gel prints. Either I use them as frameable art, or I'm using them in my mixed media paintings, cut pieces of them as part of background, or I'm doing something like this. But you have to, you know, repurpose them and make good use of them, because you spent time sitting and printing, and you have to have a purpose for which they are to serve and not just pile up in your drawer. I'm more apt to use these than to have them lying around in my drawer or just sitting around. It works well. So what's a good way? You saw how I've decorated the other spools and made them very colorful and artsy. Now this is Distress Oxide walnut stain, and I haven't tried this. I said I wanted to see a different way to do this wood. Okay, and I'm not sure how this will if it'll even color it or spread. Okay, it does. And I'm using one of these Brush Smooth. And because it's ink, it's absorbing quickly into the wood. So this is, if you like the natural, the stain look on wood, and you don't want to use paint to paint your spool, and you want it more authentic looking, that works pretty good. Or you could take brown paint. If you have color of brown, wood color, or wood stain light, you can do that with it as well if you go for a more natural look. And it's there, it's in there. It will take some time to dry. The same with doing this part. It's pretty quick. It's It's not something that takes all day to do. You can get it done and go around your edges. Let it dry. So it gives it a nice antique, how you say, that aged old look. Back in the day, spools, they came as wood that had been, you know, either they were stained, and it was just all one color. That's the way you purchased them. You know, we had some, my grandparents, and you know, that was the way you purchased them. There was no such thing as color and anything decorative about it. So this might be, in, you know, one way. And you still can come on top of this with some type of paint design if you want to. You can do that. Maybe some gold. I'll try a little gold. Some gold writing, or give it an antique look. But you see how easy it is to get that look. And this is using the Distress Oxide liquid in a bottle. I believe that maybe the real purpose of this is to re-ink your distress pads. But when I bought it, I wanted to use it directly. So this is one way. I'm going to let that dry. And the other way is to just use markers to paint it. It's whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. Okay, so as I said, I used the Arts markers on this. When the other one dries, I will try to use some gold on it. Okay, so these markers work very well on paper. I use them in my, when I do journaling every day, but it works very well onto this wood. And I took a crack at trying them. I saw another YouTuber was using it in her journals, and I think it was Creative with Paula. She does a lot of interesting, nice journals. And I said, okay, I'm always looking for, you know, different and new products to use. And so I said, I'll try these. And they're not maybe a top name brand like Posca. And I've used Posca a lot over the years. But these certainly go on nice and smooth. And the color is pretty vibrant. All of the colors, and I have about 30. They make a larger pack, and I said when these dried out that I would buy the larger pack because I like how well they go on. You see that? Really smooth, and it's water-based. Water-based, high adhesion, it says. Brush pens. Posca is more acrylic paint pens. So these work excellently. Good coverage. So if you buy your spools, you may want to decorate them. I know I got my edge with a little of the red, but you may want to paint or decorate them. You could use, you know, whatever paints you want to. I also used some stenciling with them as well on the top, and I used a makeup sponge to apply the stencil marks on top. So let's see. Let's see what I can use here. Find a stencil right quick. Now I could dab it with paint, but I'm just going to use the markers just to show that you can. And what I like about these markers is that they cover on top of each color very well. They don't bleed into the color and become muddy. And I was very surprised about that. And so I like that I was able to cover. I'm going over the orange with this teal. And it doesn't take long. So this is one way to decorate or color your spools. Maybe you want to leave them in the natural color that you buy them in. I like color. I like to have a lot of color on things. And so here, that is pretty good. And now they also have a gold one that works well if I wanted to come around the center, make a gold. You see how well that comes out. Or go around the edges of these with the gold. That works well too. So there are different things that you can do however you want to paint, or you may decide to cover your spool with scraps of your gel prints, and you can do that too. No one way to do it. It's enjoy the process, create, do whatever you're inspired to do. What comes natural for you to do. Okay, so these spools, as I said, they're affordable, and I like the fact that I can roll up my paper tape on them. And to really roll up the tape, I apply a piece of masking tape just to the end so that you can attach it like that, and it will roll without any problem for you. And then if I want to add some more strips, like I want to add this strip to it, Again, I use a piece of masking tape and combined those two pieces together. And continue to wrap them onto the spool. And then secure it with another piece of masking tape. And so this is an easy, fun project to do, but you don't have to wait until you order your spools to make your paper rolls. Okay, this is a little dry. The ink may take a while to thoroughly dry. So my idea was to see how well this gold will pick up. Give it more of an antique look. Around the edge, and it does pick up. So you see that some parts of the natural wood is a little rough, but it does pick up these pens pretty good. So if you have any markers or Sharpies and things like that, it should pick it up without a problem. I'm just doing some flower petals on it, like so. I may come in with a little black and maybe go on the inside with the black. To make it the gold stand out. These pens are really good. These markers for that kind of thing. And so you see how well that works. Give it a little vintage look. And so there you have it. The paper rolls and how to store them onto these spools. And so I hope you'll want to try this sometime and let me know how it came out for you. Thanks for joining me today. Keep doing art. Till next time.